The success has come about really quite quickly. Having built a charity that celebrates 10 years this year, to see the success of the growth project in really such a short amount of time is, I think it's testament to the vision and the concept and what we're going to do. The vision for the growth project is to bring about leadership development of those running charities. The Australian Productivity Commission did a report in 2010, and one of the key findings was that the real deficiency in the charity and not-for-profit sector was leadership development of those running the charities. And charity dollars are so hard to come by that the thought of the charities putting money into the development of the staff, it just doesn't happen. I knew that if we could bring about the development of those running the charities, we'd see more effective charities, and therefore we'd see a greater use or a more effective use of the donors' dollars. I think the impact is and the possibilities is the exciting part. To have the Commonwealth Bank and the Saunders Foundation support us at such an early stage, I think is testament to what we're about to do and the belief that they have, and also the recognition of the need for the development of the charity leaders. And it's that whole concept of, rather than continuing to feed someone fish, if you teach them to fish, and that's been something we've spoken about since day one, the concept of this is a significant difference that can be made. When I had the conversation with Larry to begin with, what I knew from my relationship with him was his dedication and focus to process and making things happen. And in his words, he was looking for something to do in this space, and for him, the opportunity to be involved from day one was exciting, and it's kind of been a case of get out of his way and let him do what he does best, which is bring wonderful people together. Without him, we wouldn't be here today. Of that, I have no doubt. I can sit here right now and recall sitting in the back of a taxi in Zanzibar in Tanzania, trying to come up with a name and put framework around this, which was my concept a couple of years ago. So to sit here 2 years on and know that we're off and running, and it's almost, this is that the tip of that metaphoric iceberg. And I think the change that we'll see for these 10 charity leaders and the business executives is exciting, but it's also what excites me is how many other people we can reach through the growth project over the next couple of years. The greatest impact will be the change that these charity leaders bring about with their charities, and it will have a very much flow-on effect as to the people that are reached as a result of what happens in the room today, and then over the next sessions throughout the year. I always find it's easy to tell a story when it's your story. It's not someone else's. I'm not abbreviating facts. I'm not trying to report on someone else's research. They're just my experiences and observations, and I guess because I believe in them so much, then other people see that passion and some will choose to buy into that. The theme of today is certainly around getting clear and understanding why you do what you do, and it was a very deliberate first session. And one of the things that I saw and a motivator in putting the growth project together was seeing charities who suffer from what can be called terminal mission drift, and where they see too many opportunities and try and do too many things. We can't wrap our arms around everyone, and I get invited or approached at least on a monthly basis to help someone or help some charity somewhere around the world. And I've been asked to go into Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Cambodia, Bangladesh, different areas of Thailand. Of course, we can't say yes to all, because it then would dilute what we do and the services that we've decided to offer. So I think the first session, it was very much a targeted session to help these guys get clearer upon what they're doing, why they're doing it, importantly, and who they're looking to support, and the best way to support them, because if they can do that, and if they're really clear themselves, when their resolve is tested, and make no mistake, as a charity, your resolve is tested constantly through funding and resources, and if you're really clear, it then helps with the big decisions, if you say this is what we're about. So it was really important to have that as day one of this 12-month journey. Being in the session of day one and listening to the other charities and the other executives, it reinforces that while we're all doing different things, we're all doing the same thing. Many of the charity leaders will think that they face unique challenges, but what I'd suggest is that the answers to the challenges sit within the room, and by that sharing and that communal learning, that so much of the learning will come from on their tables, not necessarily from the presenter that's at the beginning of the room. And I guess the endorsement of what resonated several years ago, and was a conversation I had at afternoon tea with Ralph Kelly this afternoon, and Ralph, who lost his son Thomas in a homicide, and the change they're trying to bring about. And he stood and he spoke to me about the challenges that he faces of running his foundation and then trying to make a living. Before Thomas lost his life, Ralph had 26 clients. That was his business, that he fed his family, put his children through school. Now he has 6 clients, and the expenses haven't gone away just because he lost one of his children. And this, for me, was part of the need to support those that are supporting others. So people like Ralph and Kathy, his wife, are, devoting their life to helping others, but who's looking out for them? Who's helping them? And what I know is that if Ralph and the people like Ralph aren't supported, it's unsustainable for him to continue. When you start a charity or you get involved, even if you just decide to support a particular charity, is because you're passionate about it, then those in your inner circle, your family, your friends, your relations, that they'll be passionate as well. And they won't. And I think the greatest learning is that when you try and raise money, you'll go to people, you'll expect money from those that have it, and they won't. But you'll get money from those that you didn't expect, who you didn't think will have it. You've got to be okay that just because it's your journey doesn't mean it needs to be those that are around you. And when you're clear and when you let that go, you then quickly find yourself surrounded by those who believe in what you're doing. They're not supporting the charity, in my case, HANDS, because of me. They're supporting it because of what HANDS stands for. And that's far better for sustainability and that longevity in the relationship. There's certainly a change in the generations that want to be involved, and certainly the space that I've seen occurring and in which I work in is a more engaged contribution. And I think a lot of businesses talk about having corporate social responsibility, but it's really nothing more than corporate philanthropy, and at best they give staff one day off. But there's no return to anyone around that. And the premise I come from a business consulting point of view is that if you have a corporate social responsibility program and it's not a profit centre back to the business, well then it's not effective. And when people get involved in charity, some will say, well, I don't do it for a return and all of that. And, frankly, I challenge that, because there's got to be some return in it for you. And the benefit is that if we become more engaged, well, then it's a more rewarding experience for us. And here's the flip side. If it's more rewarding for us, it'll be better for the charity sector. People are looking to say, well, how can I bring this more into my life? And I meet a lot of people as I speak around the circuit who, and you can profile them, say they're mid-40s, that they've earned their money and they're not at the beginning of their career. Their kids are either in or through private schools, and they'll come up to me and say, I want to do more of what you do. And what they're talking about is what I refer to as feeding your soul. And this is what the charity sector allows you to do, is to feed your soul. And when you engage well and you engage in a meaningful way, the rewards come back to you. So as that becomes more known, people go, well, let me have a piece of that, because it's providing me with that inner food for my soul.